Hello and welcome to Three Sisters, One Heart podcast. I'm Shannon.
I'm Tiffany.
I'm Heather.
We need to establish an order for
Yeah,
that.
we do.
Should we do birth order?
No.
Either way.
We're good.
We can do backwards birth order.
No, because then I'm always first.
Well, you're going to be first or you're going to be last. That's what happens when you're
Yeah.
the third child. Shannon will always be in the middle.
Either way, today we are talking about busy hands, calm minds. And that kind of came about as we were talking about all of the stress with the holidays
Yes.
and ways to kind of de-stress and keep yourself calm. So in just ways that let me move this. Sorry guys.
Starbucks sponsor us.
Starbucks always. We're not kidding. So just different ways that we can keep calm and keep on top of everything and not kind of lose ourselves in the holiday season because it can get really overwhelming really fast.
Absolutely.
But first, let's go to trials. And since Heather complained last week, we're going to go to her.
I was expecting you to be like, Heather, what's yours? I was going to be like, nope, not going first.
Well, now you're going first. So
Nope.
what's your trial?
Nope. Have at it, Tiffany.
You complained last time. This is what
No, I
happens.
complained that I always
don't
put
have
first.
siblings.
I complained that I'm always put first to go on trials because
Oh, yeah, I
we
got it wrong.
backwards.
Okay,
Yes.
so now you're last.
I'll go first. So, I kind of two this week. So, yay!
Oh, no, that's not a good thing.
The first one being that we finally got the okay to move into our home last week. Like, officially, we have plumbing now, which is amazing. That came with its own little issues and things. But our home is like 98% done. There's still a lot of little things, a lot of little drywall things to finish up, a lot of little paint and trim things to finish up. And so, like, while we've like moved in, we still are not able to like settle in. Like, I can't put stuff on the walls. There's stuff that I still have in boxes because, I mean, it's been like
That
3
in between
days.
is really hard to live in.
Yeah, it's been like, 3 days, and I'm like, I can't unpack my whole house while like working and
not while you're still
You
having
know.
maintenance people come in. It's
Yeah.
not easy.
So that's been a little challenging to say the least, but to add, more insult to injury, this morning I went to drive from my house to our local Family Dollar, which is like right across the street from us, and I noticed our service engine light was on, not only on, but blinking at me.
It's like, this is
like,
serious.
Pay attention.
Hello. And I noticed that my engine is kind of doing like a shudder feeling. And so I was like, great, that's not good. Like, it's not like I've been driving for hours. I literally just got into the car and drove 2 minutes on the road. Honestly, I would say I was being lazy because you can walk there almost faster than you can drive there waiting for that light, but I had to get some big Tupperware bins.
Yeah, you don't want to carry all that back.
And it would have been too much, so.
But at least you found out now rather than...
I know, but I am heaps of nervous. Of course, I took it to our dad, but he's not there today. He is not at his job. He is helping someone else with another car problem at their respective homes. So I don't.
What are the odds? He like practically
I
lives
know.
there, but as soon as you need him there, he's not
I
there.
know. So I just sent him a text and was like, please, please, please. Chris has work in Jacksonville tomorrow, and we only have one vehicle.
Well, if it
We've only-
comes down to it, he can use my truck, and I'll probably have to go in late to work.
or maybe drop you off and then go. I'm not sure what time. We can work that out
Works
later.
at night.
No, tomorrow he works during the day. It's his last.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's going to be the least convenient.
This
That's
is what
how it
happens to me.
Yeah.
It all the time. So I'm a little nervous. I'll be waiting to get a text from Dad, and hopefully it's something easy. Hopefully it's something stupid. Listen, I have never been more excited to hear him be like, well, you got to do this, Tiffany, because I hate
That
hearing
means
that.
it's a simple fix.
I
though.
hate hearing that because it's always like, when's the last time you changed the oil? You think when with a dad who is like a mechanic that we would be on top of these things? We are not. We are awful about these
I think
things.
it's because we've been so
spoiled.
So
Yeah.
spoiled, to the fact that I actually blew up an engine because I didn't realize I had to change my own oil. I thought that
He just did it for
I
you.
thought he did it.
That was
like-
that's not just the thing that
I thought
is
that was part of
done.
the package.
That's so funny.
That was like 15 years ago. Well, maybe 10.
Well, in your defense, I blew 2 motors, and he killed 2 of his cars to replace said motors.
Oh, what a
Yeah.
good man. But I hope it's something easy. I'm hoping that we hear back from him soon, and I'm just gonna try to be positive because you know, as I mentioned last week to all of you,
Put all the positive vibes out.
Yeah.
so
Get the positive
stressful,
vibes back.
though. So stressful. Actually, I was talking to some friends of ours, and they're going through a lot right now. And oh no, it was you, Shannon. Everyone is having problems, and I think it's funny because I was like, oh yeah, it's the most wonderful time of the year. No, it's the most stressful time of the year. So that's another reason I'm super excited when we get into this topic today. But
yeah, it's good. A good time for it, for sure. Mine it's kind of vague this week, I'm sorry, but just a lot of anxiety, a lot of potential changes coming up, a lot that I can't really talk about yet, but I will be. I like to be as transparent as I can, so it's hard to not.
yeah.
But just a lot of potential changes in life, and it's just, who has the time? It's Christmas. It's
Exactly. Why do these things always come at this time of year?
So while there are a lot of potentially good, exciting changes, it's still, change is really a very difficult thing for me. I think anybody
Especially
in
with
general,
a
but
family.
for me,
Like if you were just like, you know, or just like you and your husband, it would be easier.
Right.
But like when you throw some kids in the mix and you throw everyone's schedule, and I've talked to people about that before too. It's like, they're like, oh, are you free to such and such? And depending, like some of my more single friends, they don't understand. I'm like, listen, I don't just have one person's schedule and commitments to think about. Like I have 4 people's worth of life to deal with on a daily basis.
every single day.
Like you're lucky if you're getting a hot meal for dinner, okay?
They're constantly like, why?
Why do we have to
Why
feed
do they
them?
need to be fed? I don't know.
I saw a meme on Facebook, and it was like basically being a I said adult, but I really think it should say mother, is just figuring out what you're gonna feed these people every night,
Gosh.
like until you die. That's all you do.
Come on, chips and salsa for life.
Right?
You know where the cabinet
Eat
is.
some
Mine
cereal.
would love just peanut butter and jelly every single
I
meal.
wish mine would.
You know what they
I've
had for
grown
breakfast? I wasn't even arguing. Mommy, can we have a jelly sandwich? You sure can.
Please.
You can do that by
I was
yourself.
that kind of mom today. Well,
Oh yeah, it'd be a mess. Yours
That.
are so a little
Your
small.
birthday yesterday.
my
Yeah.
house is yes, it's a disaster because of that birthday, but
It was fun though.
oh my
had a
god, it
good
was so
time.
much fun. He had a blast.
I luckily Ben is on a DoorDash kick.
Oh.
Nice. You didn't
Yeah.
have to
Is that
cook
like
dinner.
ordering out? We did that one time with the podcast.
Yeah.
And we got sushi and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
We
We
need
haven't
to
done
do
it.
that
That's the only
again.
time. We should.
we got gypsy chicken.
Oh, dang. Did you
I-
get dressing?
I have a side salad with dressing for lunch. I didn't eat it last night.
Shout out to
But we-
Gypsy Cab. Love y'all dressing.
Yeah, that was actually our where our wedding reception was.
I remember
And
fondly.
we have not had
What?
the gypsy chicken since then, so it was nice.
Wow. That's
So-
adorable.
I know. I didn't realize
Was
how
it
adorable-
romantic? It was
no,
a long time.
I mean his mom was there. I mean, not that there's any problem with his mom, but it wasn't the most romantic setting. It was takeout with his mom.
Right.
What about you?
So for mine, our wedding anniversary is next week.
Yeah.
And
Why is that a bad thing?
No, here's the bad thing. And here's the bad thing. He's actually going out to sea for a few days and won't
Oh,
be here.
bummer.
So
Is it your first or your second? I'm sorry, I'm terrible.
First.
Your first.
our first wedding, our second together.
Did you guys get married on like your dating anniversary?
Surprisingly, yes. We didn't
Oh.
even realize it when we set the date that it ended up being the same day.
I had no idea.
I didn't either
Am I a
until the
bad
day of the
sister?
wedding.
Well, no, I don't think so. Actually, I didn't realize that until yesterday at the birthday party, Florida weather. It started off pretty warm in the day, and I had like
It was beautiful.
a little knit shrug thing on, and then by like early evening I was freezing, and I asked if he had a sweater or something I could borrow, and he brought me this like big fuzzy like
It's so warm though.
navy
Yeah.
sweater thing, and he was like, oh, he's like, you'll probably find sorry, this is my terrible imitation of your husband.
She does not
deep
do
man
them.
voice.
No.
Listen, if you're a guy, you sound like this, okay? Oh, if you're a girl, you sound like this. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So
Across the
imitations are
board.
not her strong suit.
No.
Not so much. But I love to do them just the same. So anyways, he was like, oh, this sweater, funny story, I had on my first date with your sister, and we went to the beach, and she was so cold, she borrowed it, and then she ended up keeping it, and I had to come back and get it. And I was like, oh, is that how it happened?
That's how it worked. That's how I made him stay. No, it was completely unintentional. I forgot that I had actually had it on until I got home, and I was like, oh crap.
Yeah,
Whoops,
well, he said you went
my
to the
bad.
beach, and I
It
was
was
thinking,
freezing. It's in December.
that's what I said. That's crazy. In December, you guys went to the beach?
It's free.
It is
That
free.
It was 10 o'clock at night, too.
Oh
so,
my god, it was probably really cold.
Yeah, it was
What did
chilly.
you guys have for dinner? Did you go to dinner?
No, we were supposed to, but
Oh, no.
it was one of the nights that my ex was supposed to get the boys. He canceled. I was halfway to Orlando already.
Oh no!
Oh,
So
I
I
kind
had
of remember that
to
actually.
drive all the way back, and then my roommate was like, yeah, as long as you put them to sleep, I'll listen out for them.
I love
Thank
someone
God.
that will say as long as you put them
So
to sleep.
it was like
Yeah.
10
I love
o'clock,
that.
and we finally got out. I was like, look, I don't know what to do this late. You want to just go walk on the beach, hang out? We can go downtown, anything. He's like, yeah, that's fine. And I accidentally stole his jacket.
Oh, that's cute.
So we had to come for date number 2.
You had no choice.
There you go.
It's a uniform jacket, so he kind of had to have it.
Right. Well, let's jump in
All right.
to Busy Hands, Calm Minds. We started talking about this because I found, what it was. It was like a little, like, what is little loom bracelet makers? It's
Rainbow
like,
loom or something.
it's
they are
like gifts
called.
that people get your kids that they can't really do, so you have to do for them.
Mhm.
But then I just found, I was like, just the counting and like the whatever, it was like super calming. And
Figuring
I was
out
like,
the
busy
colors and
hands.
stuff.
Yeah. I was like, keeping, my mind and my hands busy kind of took my mind off of everything. So it just kind of like evolved into what kind of things we do to keep calm and kind of de-stress and how to go about that.
Yeah, so for me, of course, my instinct go-to is going to be yoga. And I can't tell you how many times I go into yoga and like I'm hyped and I'm anxious and I'm struggling through the asanas or the poses. Asanas are poses essentially. And I'm beating myself up like, oh come on, you can do this. Like you know this. Come on,
Yeah.
get it together. But then I remember to breathe. And through breath, I'm able to kind of like level out, and by the end of the class, I feel way ready like to take on all the things I have ahead of me than I did before. And it can just be, usually I take like an hour class, but like you can do it at home. I can get 20 minutes in. And for me, as a person that has a hard time calming my mind, it's easier for me to achieve when I'm doing something physical.
Yeah.
I would say working out is the same, but honestly, it's not the same for me.
I have a hard time because I can't really do anything like that right
know.
now. So I can't really be physical. Like I did enjoy running for a little while.
Running has never been my jam.
Well,
I actually do enjoy it, but just my knees are so bad that
Yeah.
I
Well,
get
yeah,
to where
just that
I'm just
whole,
in too
like-
much pain the first week, and I can barely walk, much less go for a jog.
Well, keeping the just constant like pushing myself, like no, you can make it to the stop sign, or you can make it to this, that, and the other.
Oh,
But there's
yeah.
like a constant dialogue with yourself almost.
Yep.
That I didn't have time to think about the things that are stressing me, and it kind of turns it off for a little bit.
What about like music? Like I know people that like will do their workout to music, and that to them can be
The music itself calms me.
See, yeah.
Like if I'm pissed off, like don't want to be messed with, turn on the radio, go for a drive.
yeah.
Blast any kind of stupid music and just sing along. Apparently, whenever you sing or do that, it's like it releases endorphins.
Oh, cool!
and
I can
changes
see that.
your moods.
That's very cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So if I am ticked off enough to go for a drive, just leave me alone.
A podcast will do that for me too. I actually listen to a lot of podcasts when I walk at work with the babies that I nanny, and I listen to podcasts. And honestly, sometimes I'm hyper focused on them, and then sometimes like I'll be like, oh wait a second, back.
And we're
What
not
they
paying
even
enough
just said.
attention.
I've just like zoned out, but I feel much better afterwards. You know.
Yeah.
Something else I was thinking about this, or Heather, did you even say something that you do? We talked about working out or running or listening to music. What do you find that you do to de-stress?
As silly as it sounds, you know how I can't do this very often because it's a little bit of an expensive habit, but Legos.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
love
so
to
good.
build Legos because you're constantly, you got to follow what you're doing. You've got to click them all together. But I don't like building them just to build random. It's got to be to the directions of the thing that you're building.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
if
like the
we
ones that
don't-
come in sets.
Yes.
Yeah.
But those are like $15 each,
See,
and they
there's-
just
yeah.
get
I
more
wonder-
expensive from there, and I just can't.
I wonder if there's like a Lego exchange or something. Like where you
No,
can,
probably not.
or you know,
That would
for
be a really
instance-
good
That'd be
idea.
really cool.
Or maybe like, you know, you have to, of course, not lose any pieces. That would be a big
Yeah, I
part
know.
of it. Is like, for instance, my good friend Lauren, she is a huge Lego fan, and she has some amazing kits. She has like a couple Harry Potter kits.
I've wanted those so bad, but they're so expensive, and I just.
But
can't
maybe you guys
do it.
could do like a swap. You know, like, because it's like a
Yeah.
puzzle. Like, once you do a puzzle, you're like,
Yeah, like,
eh.
Yeah.
That's how I feel, anyways.
Yeah, but then they're already put together. You don't want to take them apart.
no, they take them apart, and
Oh,
she's
we
like,
don't.
Oh, well,
They-
then
she
maybe
like
not.
displays them.
Yeah, no, we don't take them apart. Once they're together, they're put up.
Okay, well maybe.
Well, then
do you
that won't
glue
work.
them?
Like
We just trust our kids, and actually, they don't mess with the
Good
Legos
on
that
you.
are. No, they
My
actually.
kids destroy things.
Once
Okay.
they are put up on the shelf, they don't touch them. They know.
That's great.
If it's a shelf in their room, forget it.
It's all
right,
gone.
right.
But if it's one of the shelves in the living room or anything, they know better. They're like, nope, we put it together, we don't touch it.
That's really good. Well, another something that I do and is really great for this time of year is crochet. Yarn can also be very expensive.
yeah.
I have like 2 or 3 giant boxes full of like yarn or I have already made items too because I have an Etsy. But you guys helped me, or you weren't there, you had to work, but when you helped me haul stuff, you saw my big yarn boxes.
Yeah.
The biggest box was a box of yarn.
This is my precious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't covet many things. I'm kind of one of those people that's like, in and out. Like I'm not
Yeah.
a stuffed person.
I'm not.
But yarn is a thing for me. It is, and it's because I find it so therapeutic and so meditative. I'm the kind of person that has a very hard time settling my mind. And I, as a yoga practicer, I do try to meditate, but like my meditation is usually a few minutes of me constantly trying to bring myself back. You know what I'm saying? Bring
can't
myself back from
meditate. I
thinking
fall
on
asleep.
this or thinking on that. You should try guided meditation. Because then usually you're like listening to someone guide you
Yeah.
through meditation. My yoga teacher does guided meditation with us a lot, and I find it way easier than when I'm doing my own. And it can be like, I don't know, like for instance, one time we did a whole practice, and then after we did a guided meditation focusing on our inner child, and it was very visual, which really helped me too. And it was like, pretend you like walked or think.
I guess
you
I
don't
didn't really
pretend,
think of ever doing anything like that.
guided
Makes sense.
meditation.
Yeah.
There's gosh, and I wish I could think of the name of it. There's a couple of apps, but there's a really good one, and you can pick between different you can do like a 5-minute meditation, and they can be guided or not guided depending, and they can be on different subject matters. But like for instance, one of hers was like, you walk into a room and in there is yourself as a child, and imagine you're playing with your favorite toy and what feelings it brings you, and it really kind of helps you connect. Well, in
Yeah.
that case, you're trying to connect to yourself, but it just depends on the subject matter. And I find those kind of meditation sessions, they hit the mark a little bit better for me, and I'm able to actually focus on them
Get more out of it.
than when I'm just like trying to meditate on my own. Like, meditation is supposed to be also about like the clearing of the mind and focusing on nothing. And like, are you kidding me? I have a gazillion and a half things constantly running through my mind. I have like a fish brain. Like,
Yeah.
what are we eating for dinner? What do the kids need for school? Did I get the oil changed?
Yeah.
All of those things come and go. I think that's also why crochet to me is very meditative, because it's kind of like mantra meditation. So mantra meditation is basically when you're meditating on, say, a word or a feeling, and it could be literally you're just sitting there thinking an affirmation like, I am love, I am love, I am love, over and over again. So the repetition of counting the different stitches, it's very even though I'm focused on something, the rest of my mind can let go.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're too busy on that.
Yes. And what I love about that is it's a busy hands, calm mind thing that can also be productive. So in the end, I have some kind of cool thing that I've made. And of course, this time of year, I'm making warm things, especially for my Coloradans. Coloradians?
I have no
I
idea.
have no idea.
I don't know how you say it. My peeps in Colorado that are not, we usually see them. I have a very long time friend since really probably 8th grade, right? And she moved to Colorado, and she comes and visits a couple of times a year, and she usually comes at Christmas time, and she has 2 boys now, 2 little boys, and I'm a sentimental fool, and I hate that I don't get to see them, but then also I feel bad, you know, because like who am I to be all like, man, you don't get to come see me, you know, like they have life things going on.
Life gets busy.
But I'm so glad I can send them something like warm and cozy, and they can actually use it where they live. And it's like a little piece of me gets to be there with them. Like last year I made them Christmas stockings that
cute.
they'll put up every Christmas. And that's just so special to me. Like, even though I'm not there, and of course the boys, they aren't thinking like, oh yeah, you know, Tiffany made these for us every year. I know when my friend sees them, she'll think, oh, Tiffany made these for us, you know?
Which actually makes me think of an article I found from a neuroscientist at the University of Richmond named Kelly Lambert. She said she made up a term called behavior... Okay, I'm not going to try and butcher that word too bad.
Just go for it.
Behaviorceuticals.
Okay.
Okay.
Instead of pharmaceuticals. In the sense that when we move and we engage in activities, we change the neurochemistry of our brain in ways that a drug can change the neurochemistry of your brain.
Very cool.
She said
that's very
the brains
cool.
Our brains have evolved to reward us for getting a grip on the world, basically. And it says in the 19th century, doctors used to prescribe knitting to women who were overwrought with anxiety. Because they sensed that it calmed them down some, and she says, and I know it sounds simplistic, but when you think about it, repetitive movements is increasing certain neurochemicals, and then if you produce something, there's your reward.
Yeah, dude.
I like it.
Science. I love that. That could not have been more perfect.
See,
I
researched this.
That could not have been more perfect.
We don't even know we were scientific.
Everybody
It's
picks.
proof.
I know y'all pick on me because I usually, fly by the seat of my pants for all the podcasts.
We always do notes. Heather's always like, what was the topic again?
An hour before our podcast.
Oh, God.
But I usually do well, actually.
You do great.
But I researched,
and it speaks to our personality types. Me,
Oh,
I'm
it
like,
totally is.
I need at least 10 minutes. I need 10 minutes. I need some bullet points.
And me, I'm just like, nah, I got this.
It'll be fine.
She's like,
figure it
yeah.
out.
I can't work that way. I'm a
No, me
list maker,
neither.
which actually is another thing that I do.
Yeah.
Because I'm a list maker, because if I can see it and I can check it off, and I know like, okay, I've made progress.
See, everybody tells me to do that,
You don't make lists?
but I don't.
Ever?
No.
Oh, man, I make all sorts
I
of
do
lists.
for, like, grocery shopping.
Okay, yeah.
I don't for
Or
groceries.
for
That one I wing it.
You're like, what's BOGO this week at Publix?
Yeah.
Okay, sometimes I'm like that, too. But I try and get, like, an idea of what I want to make at home, so I kind of need my list a little bit.
Yeah, I have to budget too much.
But, like, for gifts or parties, then I will make a list to make sure I got everything, because, I don't want to forget
cups?
the utensils or the cups or
Yeah.
anything.
Remember how we ran out of cups for your wedding? I don't know how. I feel like we bought oodles of cups.
We ran out of cups?
Oh, you didn't even know? That's
No.
that's a sign of a good wedding right there. Do you
I'll
remember
have-
that, Shannon?
No.
I had no idea.
Big sister
That's funny.
remembers these things.
Yeah.
One of those space in my brain that I'll never be able to get rid of.
yeah.
I'll forever remember we ran out of cups.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I can't believe you don't remember that. We were trying to hunt down cups last minute.
Oh, God.
Oh, oops.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Eh.
Well, no, just my anxiety. Well, it's proven that anxiety and depression and any kind of mental health issues are only exacerbated through the holiday season.
Oh,
It can be a
yeah.
time that
And
people,
depression.
Oh, for sure. Is whether you have a lot of family, not a lot. Unfortunately, depression doesn't just pick a type of person to deal with. It goes to all of them. So, kind of getting my thoughts out and getting a whole list and whatever. I've never been much for journaling or anything like that, but knowing my to-do list, because I get overwhelmed and feel anxious.
Oh, yeah.
And then that makes me feel depressed because then I feel like I'm not doing enough. So if I have my list and I see, oh, this is what you did. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that your mind can change it up or anything like that. Like, you actually did these things. You checked them off. You're doing something. It kind of helps keep that depression at bay a little bit.
Plus, how satisfying is it to mark something off of a list? Oh my gosh, that's got to be one of my favorite. My favorite things about lists is marking it off.
Meh.
Really?
I don't make a list.
Yeah. Do each their
It
own.
works for some.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm the oddball out. I've got no makeup on. I look like a wreck. I don't do lists. I've got boys.
Right? Yeah.
Hence why I look like a mess.
You look fine.
Goodness.
Yeah.
But
what about and maybe I feel like, of course, these things that we're listing off, like with the list making, they would be appealing to some and be soothing to some, but also bring anxiety for others.
That's what it does, so I don't do it.
So another thing that I wrote on here was like holiday baking, like cookie making.
I love to bake.
Yes.
Yeah?
I love to bake, and I love to get all the cookies. The thing is, I'll do all this with the mindset, I'm going to let the kids help and go. I can't do it.
I have a hard time with that too.
I'm more of a
If it's
control
like,
freak than I thought.
I like them helping like stir, but I'm like, no, we have to make the cookies pretty.
No, I don't care if they don't make
And
the cookies.
they're not pretty.
Well, you guys saw the Thanksgiving cookies.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Oh, I just gave the
you
girls
didn't see
icing and let them go.
They were just like,
Oh God.
you know,
There
they
was
like
like
glob it.
blobs
Yeah.
of icing
Merry
on
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Or no, Thanksgiving, not Christmas.
But it was like green and reds and
It
stuff.
was,
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Mom was asking with the new, I have such big new counter space, and traditionally I usually make gingerbreads, but I haven't for the past couple of years because I just haven't had the space for it or the time really.
Yeah.
If we were going to do that this year, and there were some years where we would make them all together and stuff, and it just took so much. But a few years back, I started just making them ahead of time because I am fine. Decorate it however you want. You want a glob of like this high icing on your gingerbread person?
Go for
That's
it.
your cookie. I don't want to eat it. It's for you. But I can have control over the cooking and the cleanup of the baking process. And it's way easier for the kids to skip that part and just bring them the little gingerbread people to decorate. They love the decorating part.
Yeah,
and
more
that
than
usually
anything.
takes plenty of time anyhow. And by the time you get them, all of us together, it can be overwhelming and anxiety inducing, and it's a way to kind of like take that edge off a little bit.
It is, because especially it's such a catch-22, especially whenever you're dealing with depression and anxiety. It's not like, dealing with any of it's not fair.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's like a double whammy, because it's like, oh, you're depressed, you really it's hard to like push yourself to be out around other people, and then you do. But then it's loud, and there's a lot going on, and then your anxiety,
And then
you're like,
yeah,
now
I
just
get
wanna go
overwhelmed
back.
a lot.
Yeah.
And I have to, I feel bad because I know, if I do, it's always like, oh, why do you always leave? Like last night, I love my friends, but I knew the party would take too much out of me. And
Well,
in my heart, I was like, I really want to try and go downtown with y'all. And mid-party, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to
De-stress.
Yeah. And I know they got
Isolated it.
annoyed. And I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to annoy you. It was just too much for me.
a lot of pressure too.
Yeah.
Well, and that's awesome that you bring that up, because I was listening to NPR. Sometimes I listen to NPR, and they were doing this really great discussion on introverts versus extroverts. And if you're an extrovert, or first off, the holidays are overwhelming for everyone. I am an extrovert, and I get overwhelmed and anxious at holiday time and being around a lot of people, and just, it's a mixed bag. You think everyone should be happy and jovial, but people are being nasty to each other at the grocery store with their grocery carts and stuff, and it's like, I know that you're trying to procure things for your family, but it's the holiday for all of us. Can we just try to be nice? I'm not saying everyone. Of course, there are plenty of nice people, but I've saw it around Thanksgiving. Just people being nasty and with their pushing their way through with their carts and stuff. And it's like, hello, we all have things that we need. We all have things we need. We're all trying to get to our loved ones. Why be like that?
Because people can be self-centered, and it's
You're right. But so I heard some really great tips for people who are introverts during the holidays, and I'll go over a couple of them. The first one that I thought was really great because it kind of flips things is as the host or the people that are at the party, if you know that your family, your loved one, or your friend is an introvert, to try to be understanding of that, and to remember that it's not that they're upset that they don't want to spend time with you, or they're upset. It's that it's very overwhelming for them, and it actually puts them in kind of a bad headspace. And if they say they need to check out a little early, like usually you can tell who the extroverts are, or sorry, the introverts are at a party, because they're usually the first people to leave.
Yeah.
And it's not a diss, it's not because they're upset with you, it's because they're overwhelmed.
Way overwhelmed. That's like,
yes.
For me, like, to coming to our family things, it doesn't overwhelm me. But if we were to go to a party of people I don't know,
Yeah.
I would be way stressed, way overwhelmed. I'd feel like my chest hurts the whole time.
Or say, for instance, like, what if it could even be mixed? So, like, what if, like, I was having a party and, like, some family is there, but then also, like, a bunch of, like, people from, I don't know, Chris's work and, friends and stuff.
Overwhelmed.
You would probably still be overwhelmed. And it would be important for me to realize this is just something that is hard for her, that I should be grateful for what you were able to come to and to join in on, and to try not to hold it against you, because it is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Another tip was that try to go over your calendar ahead of time and put everything in perspective, and then maybe pick and choose, like, what things are more important to you. What do you want to
hard
be
with
there
me
for?
Because, like, I don't like to disappoint.
Oh, I feel you there.
So by saying, okay, I'll do this, but I'm not going to do this, I'm like, well, these people are going to be upset.
I have a really hard time saying no. It's something I'm working really, really hard at, and I've gotten a lot better.
I have a question.
Still.
How many men do you think feel the same way? I feel like that is
My
more
husband.
a woman's pressure than a man's pressure.
Well,
Women are such
yeah.
people pleasers. Like, my husband would be like, peace out, homies.
Yeah.
Love ya, bye.
Yeah.
Like, he would have no problem. Whereas I would be like, oh, I have a really bad headache, but I guess I'll stay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to disappoint someone. Your husband, though, he would still want to be there?
He would be more that way of, oh, they asked me, unless it's like a work thing.
Yeah, and he's like, peace out.
Different thing. But
Well,
if it's like a friend asking for help and he's like, well, I don't really want to do it, but they need it, so I'm going to.
Oh, yeah. See, that would be me, too.
That
Well, I'll be the
on
one.
me.
I'll throw myself under the bus. I was the first to leave the party yesterday because
Were you really?
I was.
Oh.
Because I had homework to
Didn't
do
realize.
and I was overwhelmed and there was a lot going on. And
it was
nobody was being, like, the kids were being amazing.
Yeah,
they were all
they
playing
were really
together. They
good.
were throwing the football. It was, like, very traditional, like, American
it was a
birthday.
good birthday.
It was good. But just being around so many people for so long.
It's
and
too much.
It can be an energy
Whatever.
suck.
Yeah.
It was just
That's
like,
why.
okay.
That's why by the mid party, I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna have it in me to go downtown." Like, I know they probably were not thrilled with me, but it breaks my heart that I said no. But at the same
Well,
time,
good
like,
friends
I know
understand those kind of
Yeah,
things.
this is true.
And I'm
I
sure
don't
that
have
they
it in
do.
me.
And I'll be honest with you, this time of year is the last time I want to be downtown, and I do love people, and I love festivities.
It's crazy downtown.
I can't deal.
Yeah, I
I can't
don't
deal
like
with
any
the
of
fighting
that.
for the parking. I love the lights. It's really good to go, like, real late in the evening when it's, like, ghost town on a weeknight.
Yeah.
That's when
Yeah.
you go. You don't go on the weekend when it's, like, till almost 3 a.m. People are out and being loud and rambunctious.
I totally-
It's too much for me. The
Well,
traffic.
Yeah.
ugh.
Last
Can't.
year, we didn't make it to Nights of Lights, but the girls do go to school downtown.
Oh, yeah.
But they had gone to after school one day, and it was like a Tuesday. And so we drove around, and I was like, there's your Nights of Lights.
Done.
And they were happy as could be, and they knew no difference. And they
Oh.
were,
What
it was just
about,
how it worked for my life. Like,
what about, like, the Christmas parade?
didn't do
did
it.
not go.
Didn't do it either. Isn't that awful?
I wanted
was-
to,
the traffic
but I was
was
just
insane.
like, that's it. I
And
was like,
same
I
thing, people were
can't. I don't
nasty
have it in me.
traffic.
Bobby was working, so it would just be me. I was like, I
Oh,
can't do
no.
it. I can't do it on my own.
I was
In the
actually
parking?
going
Yeah.
to take my
Oh.
mother-in-law, but I ended up having to work. But aside from the fact that she wanted to go, it would have been a hard no.
Yeah, my kids
Even
are
if
at
I
an
didn't have
age
to
where they're
work.
like, they'd rather not most of the time anyhow. Like, yours are littler. I could see them wanting to go.
Mine probably would have enjoyed it, but I get really, like, it's very anxiety inducing. So many people around, people not paying attention.
Also, in my defense, I had a birthday party.
You did have a birthday party.
My morning was filled with getting ready for this party.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it brings it back to you have to pick and choose. Like, there's so much nowadays. There's just so much constantly going on, so much stimulation. And of course, at the holiday times, everyone wants to spend time with you. Everyone wants to,
Everyone wants part of you.
Yeah, yes, but you have to make it a priority. Or you have to prioritize like your commitments and your time and your health, your mental health.
Yeah,
really, you do. So I thought that was a really great tip, where it was like, they even said like your holiday shopping, because people maybe don't think about the fact, like I was saying at like Thanksgiving, like the stores were crazy, people were not kind, dealing with.
I will say I went Black Friday shopping with Mom, and we didn't
run into
one cranky man. Otherwise, it was
he
all
an older
good.
man? Because I also ran into one cranky older man.
He pretty much ran Sam over. It was awful.
My gosh! Listen, it's not worth it. It's not that good of a deal, guys.
And
I did my shopping all online.
I totally did all online.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. I've done too much shopping. I've done online too.
We went to Target at like almost 3:00, thinking it would be calm. We're like, we'll get a coffee.
Well, because like
maybe we'll see if there's anything left, But no, it was a lot of people still.
Yeah, because they do like at 5:00 is this, and at 7:00 they kind of stagger the sales.
Oh.
And I think that's meant to reduce the overhaul of people busting down the doors. But it means it just goes on forever.
Well, and if I'm being honest, I feel like it's getting a little bit much. Like, I saw Target and Walmart both
Thursday.
5:00 Thursday.
That's
like,
a bit much for
Can
me.
we just keep the holiday holy and sacred? You know what I'm saying? Can we just... Even I understand midnight to me was like, oh, really? Midnight?
Yeah.
But like... 5:00 on Thanksgiving, like,
I
hope
know,
you guys liked your turkey. Time to go shopping. You switch that fast from Thanksgiving to Christmas.
I wanted to be that person that was like, no, I'm not doing it, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun.
It is fun.
It is.
It's when it's fun. It's fun if you aren't like going for certain stuff. Like, I'm not about to fight anybody for some stuff. Stuff is not that important to me.
Anything that I wanted, I can't really say because the girls were right on the other side of the wall. But anything that I really wanted and needed a deal on, I was able to get online. And so it really was like, cozy socks? Okay. Like, $5 cozy socks. So it was more fun and not so pressured.
Well, then it's more enjoyable because then instead of like rushing and like, like literally some people fighting over things, you can just be like pick and choose and like enjoy it like any shopping trip. But I will say, it is exciting to kind of get caught up in that energy. All that like Christmassy,
I'm gonna get a good deal, and
energy.
It's like everything's Christmas, and what can I buy this person? And I think people get caught up in that kind of stuff too much.
Yeah.
But just for one day, it was nice to do it. So otherwise, I did get a lot of shopping done. I spent way too much money, but I got a lot of stuff.
I have a little more to do still.
Yeah, I have a little more to do.
Womp.
I haven't got my husband anything yet. So.
Oh, we don't do. Chris and I are always like, one day we'll do for each other.
How about
we don't ever.
We had to get a new oven.
Oh, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, my husband, he's a charmer.
There's your Christmas.
He was like, all the kids are like, oh, what do you guys do? Which, in his defense, he was just being silly because we don't ever do Christmas gifts for each other. We'd rather put it toward the kids. But he was like, oh, you see that new stove in there? And I was like, really, dude?
I don't know. I've always done Christmas for my significant other.
Really? Yeah. Even when Chris and I were like younger, we didn't really. We got together and we were like struggling, always struggling. So it's like, Merry Christmas, you got to eat this week.
Yeah.
How was it?
We did, whenever we first started dating, we did like just because gifts a lot, but never like real specific.
Oh, we know.
He used to come home with flowers, and Matt, Richard, and James would be in the shop, and they're like, "Dude, you make us look bad."
Right. Yeah, I've been married almost 5 years, so.
I did get an edible arrangement for Mother's Day once.
Wow,
I mean,
that was pretty cool.
Impressive.
It was yummy.
No,
It had
like
chocolate
he
covered
started off
strawberries.
strong, like naming stars after me
What?
and flowers
Nice.
and all that kind of stuff. And then he sucked me in.
And then you got married, and now you get nothing.
Oh, mine did that too. I just love romantic comedies, don't you? Yeah, try to get that man to watch a romantic comedy.
Right.
Good luck. Good luck.
It's okay though.
It's like a bait and switch.
It totally is. I think every man in history has done it, so I'm not really talking bad about my husband. It's okay.
I mean, we do it too, right? It's like when you first are dating, it's like he'll never see me without a perfectly coiffed, hair.
To be fair, I don't shave
and
my legs every day
mascara
anymore.
on. Oh, same.
Oh, heck no. He does. My husband does not even notice. He's just like, oh, wow, you shave. That's nice. Doesn't
Oh
care.
yeah, see, that's how you
Does
do
not
it.
care.
Then when you do shave, it's like, whoa, is it our anniversary or something? What's this?
It's special.
Yeah, I think my husband prefers like them to be like furrier as opposed to like pokey.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, if you're not going to shave, you just need to commit.
Yes, yeah, you know exactly. Like, instead of being like stabbing him like a cactus in the night, I think he'd rather than be like a little past that point or clean shaven. You know, like
I
that
haven't
in
gotten
between
that
is
far.
awful.
I'm not that bad.
We've been married almost 15 years this February.
I'm not that bad.
Love you, Pookie.
That's hysterical.
Well, I say him like when he shaves his face. I hate like you go to kiss and you're like I'm getting like carpet burn on my chin and my cheeks from
Yeah.
his like prickly face.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but more.
Yes. Oh God. Yes.
Yeah, that's not comfortable. All right, we're getting long-winded
I
here.
know.
I think we covered a lot of stuff, but let's go over triumphs.
All right. So
Heather
I'll
gets to go
start with
first.
these. Just that the birthday went really well.
It did. It was
even
good.
with the boy's dad coming.
I thought that went amazingly.
Me
I was
too.
actually a little bit nervous, like, to leave early because he hadn't left yet, and I was like,
He was the last one to leave.
oh, was it awkward?
Yeah.
that is awkward.
Well, he dipped out when my back was turned, but that's
Oh,
okay.
he didn't even say I'm out of here.
Nope.
That's a little.
But if he had to choose to not say anything or to be rude,
I'll take the nothing.
then nothing. What is it like
Um,
your mother always said, like,
If you have nothing nice to say,
yeah,
say
that's
it
what
all.
it is. Yeah. So maybe he's
That's
just
fine. Whatever.
Your
I'll
mother,
take
she
it.
says like we don't have the same mother.
No, I meant that as like a general. Sorry guys, my dryer turned off.
Yay!
I didn't realize it was on the
Oh
whole
my
time.
apologies. Yeah, me neither.
Sorry guys.
I got a
gotta
little
get
background. Well, this is real life, guys.
I have to multitask. And our studio
Yes.
just happens to be my garage. So it's also my laundry room. It's multifaceted.
You
So
know,
yeah,
mom
I mean,
life.
even with him coming, it went off great. Jack had a blast.
Oh,
and
gosh.
we've had to get batteries for everything.
Oh,
Of course,
gosh.
of course.
It's like,
And-
isn't it like after you spent all the money on the birthday, and then you have to go spend $45 on batteries?
Yeah.
God, yes.
That's the only downside to that. But everyone had a great time. It was just like parties back in the day. The TV was on, but nobody was watching it. Everybody was outside playing with the football, jumping on the trampoline, playing with the Nerf guns, just
Oh, yeah, they were
outside
having
and
so
busy.
much fun with those.
And silly string. Thank you, Mom.
Oh, yeah.
That was
It's
fun.
all over my yard.
Oh, yeah, you have fun with that.
Yeah.
Don't let your
Uh,
dogs eat it. Can it, like, be bad?
Would they eat it?
They're
My
idiots.
dogs.
They probably would.
My dogs would eat anything.
That's so fun.
So
I
they've-
have cats, so
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
picky. They don't eat. They
Um,
don't eat stuff like that.
I don't really know how I'm getting it up because I can't get it off the concrete.
When it rains, it will be all right.
Pressure wash it.
I don't just have a pressure washer
Get
on
out there and
hand.
pressure
Oh.
wash it.
Let me
Hose
just
it.
do that.
You know, like when you take the water hose and you put your thumb over it.
I think we have a
You
pressure
know how
washer. He's pressure
cold
washed
my
before.
toes
Oh,
would
yeah,
be, or my
you're right.
hands and everything.
Your toes.
What about you? What is your triumph for the week?
Okay, so even though our house isn't 100% done, my grandma, my fraternal grandma, is visiting from Canada, and the home that we live in was left to me by my birth father, who I unfortunately didn't have a close relationship with, but he left me this house, and it means so much to me. And I know going into this, I was worried, like how she would feel about it, how she would feel about changing things. And I know she knew that there was a lot of things that just had to be changed just to make it safe, you know? But I just was so nervous, like, about her opinion probably more than anyone else's.
Yeah.
And she got to come and see it, and we had coffee, and we had some pie, and she was
She was in town. I know she comes in town, like, every year, right?
every couple of years, because she lives in Canada.
But she comes for, like, an extended...
Yeah, she has, what is it called? Like, she's the dual citizenship, so she can stay up to, it's not, like, as long as you would think. I want to say it's, like, 3 to 4 months at a time or something. So she's been here a little over 2 months. But she's going back. Like, they're going to go to South Carolina to visit my uncle and aunt. And then when she gets back, she'll have, like, 2 or 3 days, and she leaves on, like, a Wednesday. So I won't get to really likely see her again between work and stuff. So she got to come, and I was so nervous, and she was just, like, so happy and proud. And, you know, I was talking to her, and I was like, you know, I hope that, you know, my dad would have, like, been okay with me, like, changing these things in his house. And she was like, oh, he would be so proud of you.
Yeah.
You did the things that, you know, he never did. And
That I'm sure that he would have wanted.
yeah, I was like, that's so funny, because he was such, like a cheapskate, that I was like, oh yeah, he'd be like, oh, you paid how much for this?
Yeah.
We could have done it for this much, you know? And she
salvage
laughed.
the flooring.
Yeah. She laughed at me, and she's like, well, he didn't do it, and you did. So I thought that was really cool, and it just made me happy to, like, I guess, like, get her approval, and just, I wanted to, like, I just wanted her to feel, like, cozy, and her to feel, like, comfy,
like
cozy.
home still.
Yeah, like, it was still family, you know, even though we've redone so much. I still wanted her to feel like it was home still, and just know how much I appreciate it. And I don't know why I was so nervous, I guess.
Like, you literally gutted the house.
I know.
Yeah.
So it looks like an entirely different house. Like, it maybe has a similar floor plan, and that's about it. Like, literally everything has changed.
So it was good. It was definitely positive. And I'm happy. I'm grateful. Her approval means a lot to me. And like, she didn't have much when she was younger. When she was had a young family, my grandpa and her were hippies and lived in a van for part of their early.
Is that where you get it
it's
from?
where it comes from. They lived on the farm
Because
for a
that
minute.
was
Do you know
not
what
a
that
mom
is?
thing.
The farm is, like, one of the oldest established, properly running communes in the United States.
Oh.
Wow.
My grandma said they only stayed for a month or so because she didn't like other people parenting her children.
I can see having a problem with that.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, they traveled around in a van and had 5 kids in a van.
Wow.
There's actually this great story about, my dad, they didn't have much, the kids, because they had such a small space, and they, like, tent camped places. And my dad, one time, my grandpa was like, why are we, like, using so much gas? I don't understand. Like, why are we using so much gas? And he realized that my dad had been, like, collecting rocks from different places, and because they didn't have anything that was really their own.
Yeah.
And my dad was heartbroken because my grandfather threw out almost all of his rocks. And I think that's why, too, like, that part of my family is a little bit hoardy.
I can't
I mean,
imagine
shout out
that
to
rocks
you
were
guys. I
that
love
big
you
of a
guys.
deal.
But yeah.
Weighing it down.
I don't know.
I think that's why, my dad was always, like, so hoardy.
Wanted to keep everything.
You might need it. You know? I'm like that too a little bit, but I'm also I'm a purger. I purge.
I am. I have to get, like, in the right mindset, but once I'm ready to purge, just go.
Yes.
All of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, it took me a little while to get rid of my size 2s, but whenever I did, I was like, just get rid of them all.
Time to go.
All of it.
All right. What about you, Shannon?
It's kind of a spin-off from my trial, because it's a triumph too that I've kind of accepted that there are need for changes, because change is really, really hard.
Yes, it is.
But I am kind of in a really good mental space about it, and that is huge for me.
Yes.
Whenever I am faced with any kind of change, just kind of feeling like I'm winning this battle that I have with mental illness and whatever you want to call it.
That's definitely a win.
Just having the, I don't know, I hesitate to say courage, but just to kind of take that leap and see what happens. So hopefully I'll have more news on...
Next week?
Maybe not next week. That's a little fast. But be able to share more details of what I got going on and kind of the things that I am accomplishing. But just taking that leap to realize that I'm not loving where I'm at right now, and it doesn't have to stay that way, and I don't have to settle.
That's a great mindset.
Yes.
It's really hard to get there.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's always a way. There's always a door or window.
Well, there's always been a lot
opportunity.
of a lot of guilt associated with wanting more and wanting to do different things, because there's always going to be somebody that it negatively affects or anything like that. So the guilt of any potential changes or that it might put somebody out or whatever, it's always just been too much for me. So just kind of getting in control of that and turning a new leaf, and I'm excited to see what all I can accomplish. So I'm sorry again, that's vague. I swear I try to be as transparent as I can, and I will.
Update us.
I'm just not there yet. So, but that's about it for us today.
What about Heather's triumph?
I
went first.
Oh, geez. See, I'm used to going like this. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, right?
Down the line. Do you have another one for us?
No. No,
Oh,
I do not.
She's fresh out of triumphs this week.
You
Hey,
got the
it
one.
happens.
I got the one.
It's okay, I had 2 trials, so if you guys have some tips or tricks or some ideas, please put them in the comments below. Also, go ahead and like and subscribe and
share.
Yeah. Pass us around.
Bye, guys.
That sounds
Bye.
terrible. Bye.